Hi champs, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is episode number 2. Today I will be going through part 2 of my UCT journey. Hopefully it's going to be the last part. I'm just going to sum it up. But if you haven't watched part 1, I'm going to link it in the cards right here or here, I'm not sure. But please check that out first so that you have more context for this video. Right, so where do I begin? So where I ended off was I've decided on UCT. My mom said no to studies because I'd said UCT before, so she was basically like, you can't let FOMO take you to Varsity a week early and not the Varsity we discussed, just because you want to start a bit early, right? So it's the 29th of Jan. So I'm from East London and my dad is from PE, so Oqeqesha as it is now. So what happened was my dad travels a lot for work, so he organized a Cape Town trip, and then I was just going to tag along, right? And then he was going to take some time off, attend the parents' evening, make sure I was settled, etc., etc. when I got to Cape Town, right? So I leave East London. He came and picked me up. My mom has packed for me. We get to PE, and then he's just situating himself, getting in touch with his colleagues before we drive down to Cape Town, right? So what happened was the car that he fetched me with was big. Then when we met with his colleagues, they had like a smaller car, and like I'm not the greatest at packing, so now he had to like make my bag a bit smaller, combine a bunch of the stuff, and like yeah, I'm still not great at packing. I mean that was 2013, so it's about 9 years ago. I still suck at packing today. Okay, so we're on the road now. I can't even remember how long the trip took, and I don't know what phone I had. I think I had a Lumia 520, Lumia 520. But I don't have a lot of the videos and stuff like that. I don't think I recorded the trip. I don't know. It wasn't a very vloggy time, I guess. You just lived in the moment back then. So we drove down. We get to Cape Town, and I didn't get raised. My mom was worried. My aunt was worried, and that's like the biggest reason why my mom insisted that my dad drive me down, so that I have someone there to just help me navigate the space. We get there, I don't have res, and I think we got there a day before orientation, etc. started, and I found a place in Observatory, right? And it was like a daily type of situation. So I paid daily until I was gonna end the month of Jan, and then when Feb began, that's when I was gonna pay like monthly and stuff like that. So NSFAS hadn't responded, right? I didn't have a bursary, and now I don't have res. But I was determined to go to Cape Town. I don't know, I just figured everything would come together. And I'm not gonna lie, at 18, I wasn't really thinking of the financial aspect of things. I just wanted to go to university, and I was a bit, naive about the finances because university is quite costly, right? Fine, so we get there. I'm staying in this daily place. So it's a house, it's a shared house, and there are like 4 people in the room, and like 2 bunk beds, and the fridge is here. Like, yeah, it was okay, but it didn't feel like I would be able to study in an area like that. But I didn't have an option, right? I needed a place to sleep in. Fine, and then I think on the 30th, I started with orientation, right? I'd actually met a girl, they were still friends today. I'm not gonna mention her name, but she moved from Cape Town. She's in Joburg now. She moved earlier this year. I actually met her in that accommodation, and so she went to CPUT, but she lived there, right? And on that day, I told her, okay, I need to be on campus for orientation. I showed her the communication. She's like, okay, cool. We went to Cape Town. We took a taxi to Cape Town, the Cape Town campus, the hidden campus. We get to the hidden campus, and she's talking to the like security guards, and she's like, accompanying Tando, she's here for orientation. And then the guy's like, orientation is at the main campus in Rondebosch. We're like, what? So we took the hidden jammy back, and then we went to campus. I'm not even kidding you. Like, she sat through first year orientation with me, and she was in final year at the time at CPUT. She sat through orientation with me because I was like, I don't know anyone. No one from my high school is here. I just kept to myself, you know what I mean? So she sat through it with me that whole day, that hello, hi, hi, hello, science faculty thing that the orientation leaders do. And I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit because all week is a bit, but the one thing that stuck out to me were two things. I think it was the first or the second day of orientation, and I'm trying to get a jammy to go home. So I used to take the Rochester jammy, get off at Rochester and walk down. So that street, just after you cross Main, that's like the street that the shared house was. And I asked an orientation leader, hi, I'm trying to get to the jammy. I don't know west from north from south stop, right? I'm showing my age again because, is it west stop? West stop just above Hurikwaho. West stop was still a stop when I was there. So I needed to go to north stop, but I didn't know, you know what I mean? Where's the jammy, etc., etc. And then the OL asks me, where do you stay? I don't know where I stay. I'm just like, I don't know where I stay, right? And then she's like, oh, you're not in raise, you're off campus. I'm like, yes, I didn't get raised. She's like, oh, did you write your name on the waiting list? I'm like, a waiting list? She's like, if you didn't get raised, you must write your name on the waiting list so that if the space isn't raised, you're considered. I'm like, where do I do that? She's like, on middle campus. I'm like, where? And then she can see, but this one is. So what she actually did is she walked me down to middle campus. From upper, she walked with me to middle campus. She took me to, is it Masingene building? And she just, like, I'm so grateful for her. Like, I don't remember who she is. I don't remember which faculty she was with, but like, she helped me so much that I decided to be an orientation leader the following year. So I was in commerce the following year when I moved into AXI, and I became an orientation leader because that girl helped me so much. So I get to Masingene, A, B, C, D, and they say all these things I don't understand, but they're very patient, right? Because they've dealt with like tons of freshers. So if you wait behind the ears, it's fine. They'll help you. Like, that's one thing I'm very grateful for UCT admin. Because I know like people who went to other institutions and they're always complaining about admin, especially at the beginning of the year. So like, that's one of the things that I'm extremely grateful for. So I'm at Masingene and I'm trying to get like rares and stuff like that. So I write my name down, they take my details, etc., etc. I don't know what day it is, but on the Friday, right? I still haven't signed the full monthly lease at the place, right? I'm still on that day by day. On the Friday, I get an SMS, come on Saturday to sign for your raise offer, you got allocated, crash on my shower. Oh! I was ecstatic. I call my mom, I tell her, she's like, how much is that gonna cost? And I think raise at the time was about 40-something thousand rand. I can't even remember if that was including or excluding meal plans. And she's like, yo, that's a lot. NSFAS hasn't responded, right? We've sent through everything, it still hasn't responded. I'm like, but mama, where I'm staying, it's by 4 Romini, and I don't think the degree is gonna come together. Where's my living conditions? She's like, okay, sign and let's see. Again, this girl that lived with me took me to campus. We get there, we sign for the raise offer the Saturday morning. I got everything, and then I needed to do photos, ID photos, and I needed to go buy locks so I can move into raise. She helped me with all of that, and then that also sparked another business idea, which I started, I think, in 2016, the ID photo thing. Yeah, that's what I mean, because I struggled to get ID photos. So the following year, I asked my dad for a camera for my 21st, and I bought the printing machine, and then I started just printing ID photos, right? And I sold locks as well, and like, we made a killing. And then in 2016, I partnered with a girl in engineering, and then we took over 4 raises, and we had 2 employees, right? So like, I don't know, I saw a gap in the market, and yeah. Anyways, I moved into Grosha Michelle, best time of my life. It's still during O week, I think it's 2nd week of O week now. I missed a lot. I missed the Kopano party, the Kopano foam party, I think. I missed ice skating, I missed wine tasting, I missed quite a few things. But I still managed to make friends. Oh, and I got a single room, right? Because I came in late, I got a disabled room, right? So my room was a single room, and then everything was low, right? So the door handle was low, the what's the name was low, because Brasha has sinks, the sink was low, the light switch was low, and my friends used to make fun of me. And the mirror was low. They used to make fun of me, but they also used to be like, it's fitting because I'm short. But like I was super grateful for that. And the showers are shared, but there was a shower right next to my room, with the handrail for like a person with disabilities, because the room was meant for that. I just get that year they didn't get enough that were allocated. So that's the room I got, but like anyone could use the bathroom, right? But it was meant specifically for someone who, you know, was living with a disability, who lived in that room. But it wasn't like an ensuite, it was still in the passage. And I absolutely loved it. I loved the girls, I loved the whole ecosystem, I loved the flexibility. I think the first Wednesday where we got the double burger, I actually called home. And two things. One, I was like, I love the fact that I don't have to cook. I loved like just carrying a tray in the kitchen and saying thank you, thank you, thank you as the ladies in the kitchen were dishing out for me. And like I was excited about the burgers, like 2 burgers for me, 2 burgers for me, and the chips and like unlimited juice. So like I was really excited, man. Like everything just had me pumped. Okay, we're gonna move on now to the academics. Right, so I'm registered for first year maths, I'm registered for first year statistics, I'm still in BSc maths and stats, I'm registered for first year computer science. So comms I went well because I did information technology in high school. I think the one topic that hit me was recursion. I think that just, you know, kind of didn't sit well with me, but I did well in comms sci. Did I do accounting and ecos in first year? Yeah, I picked up accounting, I picked up economics, because when I was registering, I told the course conveners that I wanted to move to actuarial science. So they added courses that would allow me to, right? And I was very grateful for that. I did that. Fast forward, we write the decant test, which is the first year test that tells you if you're doing well when you're not doing well, and if you should continue with mainstream maths or if you should decant your maths, which is basically splitting first year MAM 1000 into 2 years. I did okay, I passed, but I wasn't happy with my marks, so I decided to decant. And like the decision was based on advice I took from girls at the dining hall. So there were a lot of girls in Grasha, and a lot of them were in the upside stream. So these particular girls were Walungile and Uzizipo. I'm still in touch with Uzizipo actually. And they sat me down because I was asking, look, I don't want to decant, I'm already a year behind because I started with BSc Maths and Stats, and now it's another year and they were like, look, you want to finish the degree, right? That's the plan. And you're not confident that you're going to be able to do it in mainstream maths, because mainstream maths was fast, right? And I didn't do AP maths in high school, I just did regular NSC maths. And the girls were like, look, we decanted, we're in second year now, and we can definitely tell you the pace allows you to actually internalize and understand the material a bit better, and that's what you want, right? Because you're going to go up until second year maths, and if you don't understand first year maths, it's going to be difficult for you to do really well in second year maths, so just be cognizant of that. I was like, okay, I understood it, and I didn't have, you know, the luxury of time, because I was also like, NASA's had responded, but I didn't get 100% funding, so my mother had to pay some fund. I was in the missing middle, right? So it's like NASFAS won't pay everything, but at the same time, my mother can afford everything. So what they actually did is, what UCT does is they sponsored the missing middle, they had funds for the missing middle, so they would pay X percentage of your bursary, NASFAS would pay X percentage, and UCT would, your parents would have to pay X percentage. So that whole combination also put a bit of financial pressure on me, because I'm like, I know my mother may not be able to pay her portion next year. You understand what I mean? So you know what I did? I decanted, and I was like, the aim is to do really well so that I can get a bursary. You know what I mean? I did that. I worked my ASS off, and I did really well. I got the 70 in first year maths, and I got the 70 in first year statistics. So I did stats in second semester, which was STA 1006S. I did 1005 MAM in first year. And I'm not gonna lie, I did extremely well, and I was able to move on to join actuarial science the second year. But before I get there, I actually got a bursary through CareerWise. I'll put the link in the description. So I got a bursary from Vodacom through CareerWise. I also got a scholarship from SADP, which is the South African Actuarial Development Program, which I spoke to in my earlier video. And I was so grateful for those 2 opportunities. That just speaks to like how well I did in first year, that I was able to change programs and make it into AXI, 2, I was able to get in with these 2, scholarship and a bursary, right? So let me tell you, I'm forever grateful for this. So the first time I flew was actually Vodacom flying. So Vodacom flew me from Cape Town. They flew me all the way to Midrand, Johannesburg, for the interview. It was my first time flying. Like, I had like a career-wise assigned person waiting for me at the airport. It was my first time flying, first time in an airport. I was so excited. It wasn't my first time in Joburg though. I have family in the south, so I'd been here before in like 2011 or 2012 on a visit. But it was my first time in Midrand, and I just loved everything. I loved the city of gold. I was obsessed. I went to the bursary interview. I think I did really well. I got in, etc., etc. Fast forward, SOT-P, I also interviewed. I think they came to Cape Town. I interviewed, I got in, and then I chose Vodacom because I had to choose one, right? I chose Vodacom because Vodacom paid a higher stipend, and then I let go of SOT-P, which in hindsight, I was a kid, right? I was 19 at the time? 18 actually. What I didn't understand was the difference between a scholarship and a bursary, which is maybe something I will cover, in a separate video when I chat about careers and stuff like that, and sponsorship and finances surrounding, tertiary education. But I didn't understand the payback period. I didn't understand what a bursary entailed. I didn't understand what a scholarship, entails. But the nice thing about UCT is that because I was an EDU and commerce, I was able to tap into the SOT-P resources without having to be a SOT-P person. So I was still able to attend the extra classes. I was still able to attend the extra tutorials that they held for their burses, and I'm so fortunate for that because Vodacom was a great sponsor. I mean, my mom was able to save up her money, and I added a little bit. So I say 20,000, she says 10. It's neither here nor there. But I was able to combine some of the money I'd saved, and then she saved up money, and she was able to buy me a car, second-hand car, for my 21st, I'm not 31, my 21st birthday. So that's how well Vodacom paid, and they paid for my fees. I didn't have to worry about that. All I had to do was focus on my studies and doing well, which is what I tried to do, and I'm forever grateful for that. But for me, had I understood the difference between a scholarship and a bursar, I would have gone with SOT-P instead, so that I didn't have a payback debt and all of those things. But I was really grateful for Vodacom. I got a laptop, I got a bag multiple times, I got lots of events that I was exposed to. I got a network. I still have a friend, he works for Vodacom now. He's actually an electrical engineering major. He lives here in Joburg, so we kept in touch with him. There's another guy who also did electrical. I'm not sure where. I have him on Twitter. He's got a really fast car. So study electrical engineering if you like really nice cars. So it's it was a really good bursary. I formed really great networks and all of that, and I'm forever grateful for that. And then there's another girl I know who went to Vodacom to work there. She did ecos and finance. And there's another girl, the girl that I said I went to high school with, so Chelsea. She was also a Vodacom bursar in 2014, and she worked there for a couple of years before moving on. So it was a great opportunity, great network, and I'm forever grateful for that. So it's 2014, I started AXI. I did really well. I actually got a sponsorship, not sponsorship, but I got a prize for commerce. I was invited to Golden Key. So Golden Key I got invited because of first year marks, so my 2013 marks from science faculty. Then in 2014 I got a commerce faculty scholarship. It's on my transcript. I got about, I don't know, was it 3,000 or 5,000, which is a lot when you're a student. Which is a lot, I can go to Claremont on a Jammy and just swipe with that kind of money. You know what I mean? I can swipe. So that's what I got. So I did really well. And I'm gonna fast forward. In 2014, so much happened. And then 2015, I moved to Forest Hill. Academics, I was still doing okay, but I'm doing MAM 2000 now. And MAM 2000, quit. We had a Russian lecturer for, was it, which one? RA, real analysis. And then for, advanced calculus, we had a French lecturer. So above and beyond the mathematics itself being, abstract, you've got lecturers that you can't fully understand what they're saying. Guys, real analysis nearly killed me. If it wasn't for Ditsitso, Pule, I wouldn't have made it, honest to God. So he like, I wouldn't have made it without Pule, honestly. He was a maths major, and then he was doing his postgrad in actuarial science, and we just gravitated towards each other, and he helped a lot of us with pure mathematics, and that's how I got out of MAM 2. MAM 3, it's 2016. Oh no, not MAM 3, sorry. Stats 2 was also a bit tough. Stats 3, I failed. In 2016, I failed 2 modules. I always tell the story and people laugh, but I was walking out of a Stats 3045 exam. I walked because I didn't want to take the exam because people would be asking how was it. I don't have energy for that, man. It didn't go well. I don't want to chat about it. I'm walking down. I live in Forest Hill. As I'm about to cross, you know the road that you're leaving Lower Campus? You're leaving Lower Campus and then you're going to cross, and then there's going to be the bridge that takes you to University House and then Forest Hill. So there's that road, and it's quite, you have to be, you know what I mean, because the cars are going fast in there into that entrance. I'm walking there, and I call my aunt, and I'm like, I don't think the degree is going to come out. Things are not going well. I'm just not confident. And she's just like, look, it's fine. You've got no pressure. Take your time. Also, it may not have been as bad as you think. I got to Forest Hill. It was my last exam. I got to Forest Hill. So for those who don't know, like in Forest Hill, it's a senior race. So at UCT, you don't have to leave in June, but you have to leave in December, right? So in June, you could just lock up your room and stay. And like my friends and I used to have this tradition, even when we were in Krasha, we would stay for like a day or 2 after exams, and I'd just go out together, just catch up, because we had different exam schedules. Some were doing accounting, some were doing science, so we had different exam schedules, so we could always catch up at the end of the exam session and just touch base before going home. I went to Forest Hill. I took a bag, I put in my toothbrush, Ivaslap, it rolled on, I took my wallet, and then I went to the bus station, and then I booked a bus on the spot. I got on a bus and then I went home. And when I get home, my mom is like, oh, then I call my mom when I get home, Bana, I'm here, can you please come fetch me? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm here, can you please come fetch me? She comes and she fetches me, and she's like, did you forget your bag, your suitcase in the bus? I'm like, no, because I'm quite forgetful. She's like, it's fine if you've got it, just tell me now so that we can catch it at the next stop or call them. I'm like, I didn't forget it. She's like, you just came like this? I'm like, yes. That's how unwell I was after that exam, because I could already see when I look, I'm coming back next year. The degree isn't coming out, and it's very disheartening to know that, look, you're not graduating, things aren't going well, etc., etc. So for me, that was like one of my lowest points. So as a result of that, what I did is this is 2016. So what I did in 2017 is in Forest, I applied, or actually at the end of 2016, I applied, because I knew I was coming back, right? It was the first semester, the stats courses. I applied to be in Housecom, so I was actually the Secretary General of Forest Hill in 2017. That in and of itself posed a lot of challenges. There was a lot of bureaucracy, and yeah, I learned how to handle conflict on the spot. Mind you, Forest Hill was one of the biggest residences, and it was the peak of fees must fall, so a lot of the meetings were held there. So you as a student, because a student in leadership, because leadership says no gatherings, whatever, like we had to close the TV rooms and common areas so that fees must fall can't meet there. But at the same time, it's like, when I got to Varsity, I didn't have a bursary, I didn't have fun, so I kind of understand the plight of the students. So it was quite touchy, and I learned a lot about myself whilst in leadership. I learned a lot about a lot of people. I learned that I don't do well, I think, with conflict, and I don't do well with people who say stuff and then not follow through in terms of actions. And I love and I enjoy transparency, and it's hard to find that in some, establishments. I didn't run for sub-warden, even though I knew I was coming back in 2018. So 2018 I had one more course, and I'm actually going to speak to that in a following video, because 2018 is when I actually started working. So I started working before I had the degree. I often joke that I was probably one of the highest paid matriculants in 2018, right? Not self-employed, but like employed, and like that's something I will be forever grateful for. Shout out to Shoni for plugging me in that job, and it's just for me, it's just because I was confident. I went to the interview, I laid out my cards. They asked me, "Can you do this job while still going to campus?" I said yes in a heartbeat. Do you hear me? Because I was working for ICTS in Res. I was a lab assistant. I was getting between 1.2 and 1.4, which meant I could buy groceries. Like my groceries were 600 rand. So yeah, it was a different time then, because now they're like way higher than that. But like I could spend money on groceries. I could go out. I could go buy clothes in Claremont if I wanted to. So it was a good lifestyle. But that compared to like a real job where I was earning like, I was a taxpayer. I had to say yes. So I moved to Southern Peninsula, etc., etc. But I think I'm gonna pack that in another video. I'll fast forward a lot into this UCT journey. I passed, I did well, I failed, I didn't do well. I met a lot of people. I learned a lot about myself. My neighbor at Forest Hill, shout out to Zwile, taught me how to drive. So after my mom bought me the car, I obviously couldn't drive. And then my dad drove me to Cape Town, and then my neighbor taught me how to drive. I was in a bit of an accident in 2017. I had to pay because my learners had expired, and my mom was like, "I told you not to drive with the learners." So I had to pay the guy, but it was about 5,000, 5.5. And it was money that I had won in a McKinsey case competition. So I was a bit mad about that. And then otherwise, like I enjoyed my time at UCT, I'm not gonna lie. I learned a lot about myself, I learned a lot about people. I spent time in leadership position. I spent time at ResSoc, UCT. I played chess at Res. I was a dining hall monitor at Res, so I learned, like I met a lot of girls, and I learned a lot about the Varsity. I learned a lot about myself, which is the most important. I think tertiary education is mostly about self-discovery, and I think I did a lot about that. I started dating in Varsity. Oh God. So yeah, I would recommend it. 9 out of 10 recommended by dentists. I think in part 3, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pick up on my work journey, basically all the jobs I did while I was at UCT, and then the 2018 job where I started working before I got my degree. How like I was tired at like 2 p.m. Because you know you're not used to sitting in a chair for 6 hours straight anymore, right? After high school, and how I navigated the world of work, how I spent money, how I saved money, what my money goals were, and all of that. I think I'll share that in the next video. Thank you for tuning in. Please engage in the comments, ask questions. Tell me if your experiences were similar. Tell me if they were different. Tell me what you did with the times you failed. Tell me if you've ever gone home on a bus without packing because things just went to hell. Yeah, let's chat about it. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, laugh with me, not at me. Yeah, thank you.